Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm here to discuss two people from the Demon Slayer anime, Tanjiro and Yoriichi. Obviously this video will contain major spoilers through the end of the series, so if you don't want that, I suggest you come back after having watched the show. Something that I still haven't done, so keep in mind that I'm probably missing some details here. And with that, let's dive in. A lot of people probably think that Tanjiro is stronger than Yoriichi at this point, but I'm here to tell you that that's actually wrong. Sure, Tanjiro might be incredibly strong, but he's not quite up to Yoriichi's level yet. All we have to do is look at their fights against Muzan. Yes, Tanjiro did end up helping to actually kill Muzan and even went 1v1 with him at the end of the fight, while Yoriichi couldn't finish the job, but there are many other factors in play here. For one, there were other people involved in both fights. By being in the vicinity, Tamiyo ended up accidentally distracting Yoriichi at the key moment, which allowed Muzan to split himself into pieces, and Yoriichi wasn't able to cut all of them in time to stop Muzan from escaping. This was the only reason Yoriichi wasn't able to kill Muzan, and as it was, he still gave him PTSD so bad that it's already getting triggered in other demons from them seeing Tanjiro. Meanwhile, on Tanjiro's side, Muzan was getting attacked by at least 8 different high-level fighters at once, many of which were marked and the majority of whom were Hashiras, and had been fighting Gyomei and Tamiyo before that, while Yoriichi was fighting by himself. Muzan had also been poisoned by Tamiyo, and I'm pretty sure the poison had been working on him for at least an hour or two before his death. I don't actually know how long it was, though I believe the entire arc lasted the whole night, since we don't know the time from the start of the arc to the start of the direct fight against Muzan, nor do you know how long it took for each of the poison's 4 stages to kick in and or work. The poison did things like aging him and stopping him from splitting apart to flee the fight, and that in combination with Obanai's attacks managed to slow down his regeneration speed. This definitely gave Tanjiro an edge in the battle, something Yoriichi didn't have, yet he still performed overall better than Tanjiro when comparing individual performances against Muzan. Now, I will defend Tanjiro a bit here and acknowledge that there were some factors working against him in this battle that Yoriichi also didn't have in his fight. Muzan had a few centuries worth of additional experience when fighting Tanjiro, which probably gave him more powerful moves that he didn't have when fighting Yoriichi. And Muzan was actually taking Tanjiro seriously right from the start because of his PTSD from Yoriichi, whereas he severely underestimated Yoriichi and didn't go full force when fighting him. Before fighting Yoriichi, Muzan likely wasn't really that motivated to get stronger since he was already really powerful and hadn't come across anyone that could really pose a threat to him. But he definitely would have been motivated after the Yoriichi fight. Speaking of experience, Yoriichi had more fighting experience than Tanjiro, which would have given him more experience fighting against high-level opponents and figuring out how to counter people with different strategies and abilities. Also, because Tanjiro wasn't fighting alone, he had to worry about a bunch of other people getting hurt, which occupied some of his attention and caused him to split his focus. The only one Yoriichi had to worry about was Tamiyo, but she was only one person that wasn't getting involved in the fight like Tanjiro's allies were, and Yoriichi also thought she was on Muzan's side at that point, so he wasn't really worried about her in that regard. Tanjiro was also going into this battle after a hard fight with Akaza, so he was already drained and pushing himself past his limits, a restriction Yoriichi didn't have since he hadn't been fighting before battling Muzan. With that being said though, this is where my defense of Tanjiro comes to an end. Even without taking the Muzan fight itself into account, the fact that Tanjiro had such a hard time against Akaza, who was Upper Moon 3 and only had about 130 years of experience, even with the marked Gyusan fighting with him, while Yoriichi by himself was able to fight with Muzan on pretty much equal footing, makes Yoriichi stronger in my eyes. Tanjiro definitely has the potential to surpass Yoriichi, but he's not quite there yet. If he really wanted to do it, he would have had to keep training and pushing himself past his limits, something that would A, not be necessary as there are no more demons to fight, the only one left being Yushiro, who isn't a threat, and the Demon Slayer Corps has been disbanded entirely, B, not be feasible since there aren't any opponents left that could push him past his limits to that degree, and C, would be very difficult to achieve under these conditions considering that Tanjiro only has about 9 years left to do this before the mark kills him, whereas Yoriichi could train basically as long as he wanted and didn't die until he was about 85, having likely been training that entire time for another potential encounter with Muzan. Something that wouldn't have happened regardless considering how weak he left Muzan, but Yoriichi didn't know that. So, yes, while Tanjiro theoretically could surpass Yoriichi, I don't think he actually ever will. It's weird because we always usually think of the end of the show protagonist as the strongest person in their verse, but not in this case. Yoriichi, Muzan, considering all the previously mentioned factors, and potentially even Kokushibo are all still stronger than him. And with that, thanks for watching. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next time, everyone. Jana!